Hello, good evening. This is Darren and Julia with the Mental Minute Baltimore. Like always, Julia, thank you for taking your time with me tonight.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Thank you. And yes, so everybody knows we started this at the beginning of the pandemic. Julia is a clinical therapist with a specialty with trauma and addiction. She recently published her first book, Crossing Paths. You have to get it. The intersection between trauma and addiction, but also Julia has her own practice, a fully staffed practice that is there for the community. And every week we get questions coming in. And Julia, this week we had a question coming that we picked out that they're just saying, Julia, I have a problem with keeping my cool when others are consistently pushing my buttons or trying to get a reaction out of me. What would you have to say to that?
Yeah, and I think that's an amazing question. And so the way I kind of compartmentalize that is I break it down into steps because I think steps are the easiest way for us to follow things. The first thing that comes to mind is kind of speak calmly and clearly. The other person is probably pushing your buttons to get a rise out of you. So if you can stay calm and speak clearly and attempt not to take it personal, because again, that's what they're attempting to do. So if you're not going to give in to what they want, the chances are they're going to stop sooner than later. The other thing is, and this is really hard in these types of situations, but really show kindness. So express kindness while they're trying to push your buttons and be mean, because when you do that, you're going to see this weird reaction from people like, wait, you're being kind to me and I'm intentionally trying to push your buttons. And so it takes them like a step back and it makes them like, what's going on? You want to kind of shine a light on their behavior in a nice way. You don't want to be like, listen, you're doing this on purpose. I know you are, but like you could say something, your behavior's making me a little uncomfortable. I would appreciate it if you just kind of stop for a little bit. The other thing is you can only control your own emotions and reactions to this. So the more you're able to stay in control, it's probably going to make the other person a little bit angry and upset because they're attempting to get at you, but it's also going to calm the situation and you're able to walk away much clearly without getting into anything. The other thing is you want to show them, as I said, kindness, but you want to show them love in a way where they're not sensing any fear or anger from you. So you want to make sure that they're understanding like, hey, if this is what you're doing, then this is what you're doing. And I'm just going to I don't have to take it. I can walk away. I'm going to speak clearly and calmly to you and say, I don't appreciate this. When you want to talk, like you want to talk to me as a person, I'm here. But until then, I'm just going to kind of come over here and separate myself.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. And I wanted to ask you this, guy. I do work with children as well. And we all work kids at one time in school, and we know how to push each other's buttons, but specifically maybe for somebody in school, maybe high school age, to say that, hey, I'm trying to focus, I'm growing up, I'm trying to be focused at school, but there's somebody constantly pushing my buttons. What would you say specifically to somebody that's maybe in high school?
Sure. So somebody in high school, I think it's a great time for learning. But you're going to want to look for people who can support you when you're trying to walk away. So you're going to want to look for those friends who, instead of egg you on to get involved in something you probably shouldn't be doing, you're going to want to look for those friends that can support this kind of positivity within yourself and being like, I don't need to do this. I can just walk away. Also, if it continues and this person is kind of bordering doing things they shouldn't be doing when they're picking on you or kind of pushing your buttons, find a safe person at school that you can kind of go to and say, listen, this is going on. I'm doing my best, but I may need some help, because this is so important to be able to ask for help. Asking for help is what a lot of us struggle with. And when we're able to ask for help, we're able to get more strength and more confidence and more support than we would originally think.
And there's a difference to kids to understand. There's a difference between complaining and speaking up for yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes. And like always, Julia, just thank you so much, for taking your time away from your practice, your family, your book, just to share some insight. And to anybody out there, if your child is struggling, if you're struggling, we do this, for all ages. We all go through things. And like I say every week, it's okay not to be okay. And if you're going through something, if you're struggling with something, we're here for you. Please reach out to myself or Julia. We have resources on our page. If you feel like you're consistently feel like people are just pushing your buttons and you're just going crazy, or we don't know what it, not going crazy, but just maybe just having one of those days or weeks or months, we have resources. Like I said, Julia has her own practice. She does offer free consultation. So if her group and staff can't help you, or if they're busy, they can definitely lead you in the right direction. Julia, thank you for your time, and I'll talk to you next week.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.